Hey everyone, welcome to Batman the Animated Series, Shadow of the Bat Unboxing. This is part 2. So part 1 got a little bit long there, and it's just going over the basic rules of the game. It's not a direct how to play, but it is at least a rules overview so you have some idea of what this is, which we'll be explaining a little bit more on each of the characters and cards when we go through them. But for now, we're going to actually jump into the components. So we have a stack of token trays, which I have not punched out yet. Alright, so here we're going to get all these different tokens. So here's all these different, like, broken walls, open doors. We have some various yellow terrain, some mystery tokens, different bombs, diffusos. We have some other tokens like Gas X and Stunned. And if we flip it over, here the doors and stuff are all closed. Some more walls. We have Diffusion Tokens saying, yep, they worked, or no, they didn't. Different tokens. Again, they just double-side them so you can use them twice. And these clues have purple on them. So there we get a couple different ones there. Here we're going to have some Skylight Tokens. Some more bombs, some different counter meters which you can swap in for various things, some more doors, bunch more yellow terrain. I'm trying to figure out, this game is a little dark, but you get like some desks, which are really neat. I like the idea of that. Plus, again, with this being Bullock and Ninja Turtles, all the stuff's the same size, so you could mix and match various tokens. So if you want to build like computer desks and some of the more techie stuff they have in that one to this, you can, or you can take like these desks here, put them in the Turtles. Plus they have like terrain like ice, which wasn't in the Turtles. You could add like an ice element to some of that. Should be really neat. Here we have some hard to cover terrain, some different desks. Some fire hazards, which are kind of cool as well. Some more bombs. Bunch more ice tokens of various sizings, so you can make different paths. We have the Batmobile. Sorry, my lighting's not super great. We have some smoke tokens. Some icy terrain. Flip this over, we have fire on the backside, fire terrain. We have a tanker truck. Here's some fire tokens. Plus a like regular computer. Just kind of cool. Here you have some dynamite, a fire extinguisher, a crystal, an open like elevator or hallway. Some icy circle tokens. Some Bystander, some more status tokens, a Batcopter. Flip it over, we have a Batcopter that's been blowing up. Some more dynamite, gadgets, bat belt used for various scenarios. This is kind of neat, just a big terrain with a climbable spot and a hard to climb spot. Bunch of caltrops and fear tokens. Different bystanders, so you have blue ones and red ones. Bunch more tokens, you have 2 in each color for various effects there. So what these are for, I believe, are the under fire tokens, yes. That's why there's 2 for each. So under fire is a new mechanic in this game. Basically the henchmen use a lot more guns than the ninjas and the turtles do. Not to say people in that don't use guns. You can actually apply that rule to that game if you wanted to. But what it means is, so during a turn that someone's under fire, the bad guy generally, the shooting, gets this side of the token, and then the hero gets the other side. And if by the end of the round, or I think at the beginning of the end of the next round, I forgot exactly what the timing was, if they haven't gotten out of the way or stop this effect from happening, they get KO'd, or knocked down, or however it is. Basically because they're being shot at, and if they haven't gotten out of the way, they deserve to get shot. So here we have some more police cars, some different other vehicles you can put in. tanker containers, file cabinets. So it's kind of stuff that's neat because some of it's good for outside terrain, some's good for inside terrain. We have some clue tokens with different stars on the back. We flip these over. We have some different cars. We have some bank vault. We have some dumpsters that are open or closed. We have some manhole covers. Just lots of unique stuff. Here we have a bunch of health tokens. And I'm guessing they added these in for like henchmen and stuff, so 1s and 3s, just to help keep track of everything. On the bottom here, you have these little extra icons which you can use for when you're sharing your dice, just so you can, like, as a reminder, so you don't have to keep constantly looking over and trying to remember which ones you have. So you get 4 of each of those. Here's some entangled, some frozen, some magnifying clue tokens, the coin for Harvey Dent Two-Faces stuff, which one side's regular, one side's scarred. This purple token, I believe, is like a first turn marker. Yeah, there's some entangled ones, because depending on how entangled you are, you get a number. So if it's like 5, you spend a 3, and then 2 of the 1s, and then every turn you have to struggle to break free. So those are all our major tokens. Then we're going to have a bunch of maps. Let's see if I can flip this up a bit. Maybe we can get... I got some really bad lighting here. Let me see if I can get rid of some of this glare. Sorry about the camera jiggle. There, that's a little bit better. Alright, so in this map, so each map in the bottom of one of the corners. So here we're going to have 1B, and then that one's going to say 1A. With a set symbol, not that that makes a big difference, but they do continue. So like in the first expansion is the Arkham Asylum expansion. Whatever this number leaves off with, it continues with it. So it's not like, oh, this is Batman A1, this is Arkham A1. No, so if this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so like the next one then would be 9, and it just continues that way. Yeah, but here we have like the tower, or top of a tall building. You can see there's purple edges here, so if you get knocked off this building, you're going to be in the free fall, and if you don't rescue yourself within a turn or two with like a grappling hook or something, you're pretty much done for, which is a new mechanic for this game. We also get a street, so you can have just outside on the streets, you can drop dumpsters, cars, various things like that. Here we have a road outside a parking garage. So you have like some toll booths, some parking meters. This rail here is just kind of just showing a little bit of a higher curb. There is a little bit of detail on some of these. You get like little newspaper, City at War. Here we have the iconic Blimp from the opening. So again, you have all this terrain you can fall off of. This orange, which is all hazardous. So realistically, you have this little spot in here to fight, and then everything else is more and more dangerous. But it makes for an interesting little match. Here we have the cool 2 rooftop buildings with a street in between. And this works really neat for things you can try and jump across if you have enough movement, or you can shoot across, but you can also hide, because so if a character is here up on top and a character is here on bottom, they're not considered adjacent to each other for melee attacks, because you can't punch someone if you're on the ground and they're on top of a building. In the same way, though, you can shoot down or shoot up at them. But if a character's standing back here, they can't shoot over the edge of a building to the guy standing down here, because you can't see them, and same vice versa. Now, you can shoot like this over like a guy over here, because you can see them. So it kind of makes for some interesting interactions with some of them tall buildings. Here's some chemical vats. So you can go around the border. but then you're gonna have to like watch the hazard you don't fall in there. Here we have another set of streets with some stairs. More of that same newspaper. Then we have the inside of an office building. Might possibly be Gotham PD. I'm not 1000% positive on that. But it has an entrance here and an entrance there, so you can come and go or add a map one way or the other. It's just a desk, though. It's a fairly open map. You get another big open building with an entrance on either side. You might be like, "Ooh, that's kind of boring," but that's how we can add different things in there that you want. Here's the Gotham City, probably like mayor's office or official building. So there's an entrance in the front, entrance on the side here. This big like desk or just desk here that you can check out. Yeah, I've watched a lot of the animated series when I was a kid. I haven't seen most of it recently. So some of these things might be a little bit more iconic to other people than to me. Sort of like looking at the Turtles one, I was like, ooh, that's the Turtles layer, and that's this. And I got a little bit more excited about some of that because I'm more familiar with it. But yeah, here's another office you can go into, just one door in. Red desk, because someone can kind of hide behind it. Some different terrain. This one has 3 doorways, desk in the middle. Here is the Gotham City Police Department. Entrance on one side, entrance on the exit on the other. Desk in the middle. So if you want to get over, you have to hop over that desk, which takes extra movement. Here's another city street terrain. So we have a big giant building. We have some skylights here. We have just the sidewalk. So it just helps to make for some different buildings. Another big empty room, but this one only has one entrance. So you can use this as like a mob base or maybe like a jail cell or who knows. And then it looks like part of a museum. We have a dinosaur in there. We have 3 different entrances. Yeah, so you get a bunch of different terrain. As I said, if you end up buying the expansions or you get the Kickstarter stuff with like the stretch goals and things like that, if you can still find them all, you're going to get a bunch of extra terrain. Or again, even if you pick up the Ninja Turtle set, you can mix and match them with these. But then at that point, you have to create your own scenarios. Alright, so now we have all the characters. So we're going to set them kind of off to the side. We're going to look at character cards. But what we're going to do is just look at the big AI, the big character cards first, and then we will go back and look at their decks. You know what? We'll do it the other way. We'll look at their decks as we go along. I can sort these out. This should be sorted out in order pretty much. Alright, so all the backs of the cards are going to have the big symbol for whatever team they belong to. So like Bat Family, unaffiliated, Gotham, and then it goes back like yellow for Batman, blue for Gotham. So it's going to be the same for all of them. And that's just for the hero cards. That's just a little quick way. They had to put something on the back of the cards. The 2 exceptions are going to be Batman. He's going to have his regular side and his Dark Knight side. And the other one is going to be any of the villains, who you'll have a AI side and a non-AI side. Alright, so up first we have Batgirl. Let's see if I can find her. So there's the Batgirl miniature. Kind of mimicking that pose right there. half kind of crouched over. They're not super detailed, but that's fine. They're detailed enough you can tell who they are, for how small they are. They're not as big as some other characters or other games. Also on the very bottom, way down here, which I'm not going to zoom in on, they do have a card number, set number for all the cards. That way you can always keep track of which cards are what. And it goes all of like these regular cards first, and then the big cards are last. So different things we're going to show on here is we're going to have whatever team they are. So she's Bat Family. So she can use the utility belt. Down here are her dice. So it's showing 6 sides, even though you only get 3 dice. But this is showing the different sides she's going to have on her dice. So she's going to have 1 movement, a double melee, a range, a defense, another movement, and a bat symbol. So that'll be each side on one of her dice. So she'll have 3 dice, so each of those sides. And that's just like comparing that to like the Batman one. He's going to also have 1 melee, 1 boot, but he has double ranged, 1 shield, but then he has a shield and a melee, and then a bat symbol. So he can go a little bit more ranged, and he can instead of move, he can't move as much, but he has defense and blocking. And that's just showing the differences between each one. Just in case you're ever curious or trying to figure out like what characters. You don't have like, if you're trying to pick like a team, you don't pick a team that has, okay, so everyone has 1 movement point and 1 defense point. Like, we don't have a lot of range, like, and maybe you want that for whatever scenario you're doing. Up on the top here, it's going to show her movement. So for every movement skill dice she rolls, she gets to move 4 spaces. She can do she has to move 4 spaces per each one. She gets to roll 1 die per melee or range for her damage. She has 3 defense, so every time she uses a defense die, she can roll 3 dice to defend. She has 2 skill cards. So she gets to pick 2. So if she wants to use her utility belt, she can only use 1, and then her gadgets. And then she has 5 clues, which is the little magnifying glass, and that's to help her solve various puzzles and stuff like that. It's called Focus as well. She has 11 health, and then 7 is how much she needs to be able to stand back up. So she has to. So if she gets knocked down, she has to be healed up to 7 health before she can stand back up. I'm not going to go through all these numbers for every character. I'm not going to read all the dice for every character every time, because there's a lot of stuff to go through. We'll be here forever. But her special ability is brilliant. At the end of her turn, Batgirl regains 1 focus. In addition, Batgirl may reroll a given roll more than once, spending a focus each time she does. That's one of the benefits of focus, is you can spend 1 focus during your turn to reroll your extra dice. She can do it more than once. So her special card skills are going to be, so here we have different symbols like infinity, so this just stays out. It says each time Batgirl knocks down, or it's Birds of Prey. Each time Batgirl knocks down or KOs an enemy figure, she regains life equal to the number of hits rolled on 1 battle die. Commissioner's Daughter. Used only when there are no enemies adjacent to Batgirl. Batgirl may make up to 2 investigate actions for free. So this costs her 1 focus to use. So Gymnastics. While this card is active, Batgirl receives Defend +1. In addition, for each defense roll Batgirl makes, she may immediately move 1 space for free. She's got Ingenuity. If Batgirl takes this skill, she also takes 1 of each gadget. These gadgets may only be activated with the Ingenuity skill. Batgirl may spend 1 focus to activate 1 gadget. When activated, the gadget is not discarded. Instead, it returns to Batgirl's hand. The same gadget may not be used 2 turns in a row. So this is a way for her to get around only having 2 skill cards and needing to use gadgets, is you could pick ingenuity, and she can keep reusing them gadgets over and over and over, versus them being one-time use. But you have to keep paying for them. This one costs her 2 movement abilities, so you have spring forward. Batgirl leaps up to 4 spaces in a straight line and then makes an attack with +2 melee strike. So she just add 2 extra dice to her melee attack. It's a good way to close the gap. And this one costs her 2 fists to use. So the bigger they are, Batgirl makes an attack with +2 melee strike, then moves the defending figure up to 3 spaces in a straight line, as though they were leaping. So the other one, she jumps towards them. This one, she hits them and knocks them away, which can be really helpful. Throw them off a building. That is my suggestion. You throw the Joker off of that damn blimp, and then you're done with him. Yeah, it's kind of mean, but that's what you need to do. Alright, so now we have Batman. So, Batman, utility belt. So he has prepared. Let me move this over a bit. Before rolling your action dice, Batman may set 1 die to any non-bat side choice. Then roll the remaining dice around. The dice he has set must become your center dice for this round. So that's actually kind of cool, because of course he's Batman. He just pick what he needs. Does he need defense? Does he need double melee? Does he need double range? Does he need his defense range? He can set it to any of those 5 sides, but then it goes in his middle, so he can't share that with anybody else. He also has escalation, so if you're playing competitive, the villain's hand size increased by once. If you're playing cooperative, the first Arkham villain initiative card thereon receives a second turn. So it's sort of a thing, he's prepared, but he also pisses off the enemies, and they get an extra attack. We're going to look at the Dark Knight side really quick. So he still has a prepared side, but he also has the Dark Knight solo. The Dark Knight character sheet is only playable in Dark Knight solo mode. It requires a solo character sheet extension token that should be placed on top of this character sheet. If Batman receives the I'm Batman skill card in addition to his other skill cards chosen, it does not count towards his limit. So he just gets a little bit different thing, but he also doesn't piss people off as much that way. Alright, so he has cost 2 focus, I am the Knight. When played, move all enemy figures within 2 spaces of Batman 1 space. While this card is active, enemies cannot be adjacent to Batman. A lifetime of training. Choose attack, defend, or move. This card is active. Batman will receive +2 to the attribute you choose and +1 to the other 2. At the start of Batman's next turn, remove this card from the game. Driven by the past. Roll 3 battle dice. Batman regains life equal to the number of hits you roll, then he regains all his focus, then remove this card from the game. Electric Knuckles. When active, Batman's melee strikes deal 1 stun damage token if they hit, in addition to dealing wounds. Elevated Takedown, so this actually costs a bit more, 2 punches and movement. Batman leaps up to 3 spaces in a straight line, then makes a +2 melee. Any dice wounds that he would suffer from falling during this are added to the attack instead. So this kind of works like Batgirl's, except if he jumps from a higher height, he actually does more damage. And then he has Judo Throw. Batman chooses an enemy figure adjacent to him, moves it to another empty space adjacent to him, then makes a +1 melee attack against that figure. If it hits the defending figure, receives a stun token. So he kind of steps off to the side and throws them, or does an attack on them, and you can stun them. We have Shielding Cape. While this card is active, Batman receives Defend +3. However, if he leaves his current space, this effect ends immediately. And the World's Greatest Detective. During this battle, Batman receives +1 focus and 2 extra gadget cards. If Batman makes 1 investigate action per turn for free. Then the next card we have for him is the Dark Knight. So this is I'm Batman. It says this is only for using the Dark Knight mode, but it says Batman may perform special actions on himself. At the start of each round, he regains 1 focus. Only use this skill when playing Dark Knight mode. Alright, next we have Catwoman. You get to play as her. She's unaffiliated, so she doesn't work with any of the team cards. But she has, at the start of Catwoman's turn, she chooses one figure in play. She may move through that figure while moving, but cannot end on its space. In addition, Catwoman does not need to break away from that figure for this turn. So basically, she needs her feline grace just to get around. She has some pretty interesting die. Movement, block attack, or double movement. So she's gonna be moving around the board like crazy, and doing pot shots. So she's going to have Cat Claws. When making a melee strike against an adjacent figure, Catwoman rolls one die, treats double hits as triple hits. Catwoman's Whip. Catwoman may make melee strikes against figures in her line of sight up to 3 spaces away. If Catwoman begins her turn in a bottomless terrain, she may move to a non-bottomless terrain within 3 spaces. So it's actually cool. She can save herself with this card. She has Isis, which is her little cat. Catwoman adds the Isis support hero sheet to the play area and the Isis figure to battle. During setup, Isis is placed into Catwoman's space. Maven's Friendship. Each time a hero is seated next to Catwoman rolls a bat icon result on their action dice, Catwoman may regain either 1 focus or 1 life, so she gains a bonus for what other guys are doing. And then her final card is the cat with cat-like tread. Catwoman is not affected by slow, rough, harmful, and unstable terrain. In addition, Catwoman does not suffer wounds from falling. So that's kind of cool. She can just kind of bounce around. But again, she only gets 2 focus cards per game. So you start out, you have to pick two of all of these cards, and that's all she gets to use. And then each turn, you get to activate one, you can activate the other, going back and forth, or activate the same one twice. I just realized we didn't show off any of the figures. So we have Batman here. And somewhere we have a Catwoman. Yeah, so it's kind of with less abilities. You kind of have to be a little bit more picky or maybe choosy on what you're going to do. There she has her big whip. And then you can also summon her cat, Isis. Oop. Almost lost him. Or lost her, rather. I'll hold her by the tail, maybe. Yeah, so there's Isis. And then to see what Isis does, we're going to look at Isis's card. We're going to jump ahead a little bit. So she has support, creature, and small. So creature and small have a little different effects. And then support is just saying that you can't play this character by itself. It just has 2 movement. It says meow. Isis cannot be attacked, does not need to break away, and may only spend her support wild icons to move. Enemy figures sharing a space with Isis receive attack, hit, -1, and defense block -1. So basically, if she's around, they have bad luck and they're going to do less damage or less defense. She has support. Support figures are deployed adjacent to their commander. Do not use or share action dice. On their commander's turn, each support receives 2 wild action icons. You can use move, melee strike, range strike. A support commanders can use their focus to reroll their dice. Except hers says she may only spend her dice to move. So she's just going to move around and cause people to be weaker by getting like underfoot or bad luck. Alright, so up next we're going to have Jim Gordon of Gotham City Police Department. And where is good old Jim Gordon? Nope, that is not Jim Gordon. There's Jim. So you gotta play as Jim with his tie there. It's kind of cool. like the coats and the trench coats and capes and stuff that are kind of flowing. Definitely makes some interesting things. Alright, so Jim is going to be able, he can use up to 4 steel cards. He has Police Commissioner. Add the Beat Cop hero sheet to the play area and 2 Beat Cop figures to battle. On his turn, Gordon may activate any 2 Beat Cops on the map. So it's kind of neat, because you have like Batman and Catwoman and all these other characters that just play by themselves. Gordon actually comes in and he gets 2 extra guys to play as. So, do I have their Beat Cop card right here? Yeah. So let's just look at what the Beat Cop does, just for the sake of it. So, Gotham City Police Department, support. He doesn't have any steel cards, doesn't have any focus. Beat Cop's range strikes do not weaken for the first 4 spaces, so they can actually shoot extra spaces. And then there's the support ability, just saying what it does. Second, Gordon starts with 2 of those guys right away. So let's go what Gordon's other steel cards are going to do. Cover Fire. While this card is active, all friendly figures within 2 spaces of Gordon, including him, receive +1 defend. He's also going to get Detective Bullock. Replace 1 Beat Cop with Detective Bullock. He treats double hits as blocks when defending and has the following attributes: 2 attack, 4 defense, 3 move, 8 life. So we actually do have a figure for Bullock. So we didn't look at the Beat Cops either. So this is one of the Beat Cops. No, that's not a Beat Cop. All these miniatures start to look the same after a while. There's Robin, there's those guys. Henchmen. Oh, here we are. There's a Beat Cop. So it kind of looks like his picture, except his gun is aimed down. But we can swap one of them out for Detective Bullock if we want. But yeah, remember, this costs Gordon 1 of his 4 cards. It is a permanent, so you can leave this out all the time. So it still acts as an extra card. But you get a little bit more powerful guy. Because yeah, compared to the Beat Cop, Beat Cops have 3 move as well. How can I show this? Yeah. So they have 1 attack, so he has 1 more attack. 2 defense versus 4. 8 life versus 3. So basically it's a lot better character to have, but it costs you 1 of your extra abilities. Here we have Go Get Them. Gordon chooses one of the following. One of his followers and rolls 1 battle die. That follower regains life equal to the hits rolled. In addition, one of Gordon's followers receives 1 extra wild action icon of his choice during that turn. We have Keen Marksmanship. While this card is active, Gordon's range strikes do not weaken for the first 4 spaces. In addition, he may reroll his battle dice once for free per range strike. This counts as a focus reroll. So yes, it counts as a reroll, so he can't do it a 3rd time. We also have Officer Montoya. It says replace 1 Beat Cop with Officer Montoya. Her range strikes do not weaken for the first 5 spaces. Has the following values. She has 2 attack, 3 defense, 4 move, 5 life. So not as much life as Bullock, but a little bit more move, a little bit less defense. Here is her figure. So she's got her shotgun. But she can actually do a lot more range. So because of this, Gordon also gets a couple extra cards more than some of the other characters. He also has old-fashioned legwork. Gordon may make an investigate or rescue bystander action for free at the end of the turn. If he does, he regains 1 focus. He's got Point Blank. Gordon's range strikes may be made against adjacent enemy figures. And he has SWAT Team. Beat Cops receive +1 defense and 1 additional wild action of their choice. Oh, he's got one more. And Tough Old Bird. If Gordon would be reduced to 0 or less life, may spend 1 focus to restore him to 1 life. This does not work again. Effects that instantly KO a hero, such as falling off of a building. Or I think the under fire. Like if you're going to take a ton of bullets or fall off a building, he can't really get back up from that. The also neat about this character is he's kind of a mix between, like, comparing to the Ninja Turtles. He's a mix between, like, Old Hob, who uses a lot of different guns and gun abilities, and kind of like Shredder, who usually comes with extra foot soldiers. It's kind of a neat combination. Our last hero, because we only get 4 main heroes in this game, versus I think we had 5 or 6 in the Turtles one, but you're also getting like the extra beat cops and stuff like that. Plus, there's not as many characters in this game as there are in Turtles. Just the Turtles right off the back. There's 4 Turtles. So here we have Robin, and this is Dick Grayson Robin, the original. At the start of the round, after rolling action dice, Robin may add 1 additional non-defense icon or the same type of action. If this die is shared with another hero, that hero also receives the bonus icon. So it's kind of cool. He's got a little bit of everything there. A little bit of movement. Let's jump around. As you can see, like Batman, Batgirl, and Robin all had the utility belt, but the Gotham Commissioner Gordon did not. Which makes sense. He doesn't have a utility belt. Robin has a nice shooting bozo. If Robin is under fire, discard under fire token from him. In addition, while this card's active, Robin receives +2 defense. Oh, that is not a Robin card. There's your Robin cards. They got mixed up. They slid over a bit. That's fine. We have the Bullock. Robin may pay 1 focus for using the Batarang gadget instead of playing a gadget card. You may use this gadget more than once per turn, paying for it each time. Boot to the head. Robin leaps up to 3 spaces in a straight line, then may make a melee strike +1 battle die for each non-extra defense icon spent. Circus Upbringing. When defending, Robin counts his double hits as blocks. Sling. Robin's range strikes do not weaken for the first 4 spaces. Also, when Robin places tokens on the map with a gadget, he may place them 1 extra space away. And finally, we have Smart Mouth. Says when a friendly figure adjacent to Robin is wounded, Robin may redirect some or all of the wounds to himself. Afterward, Robin regains 1 focus. So those are Robin's abilities. I'm trying to find the gadgets quick. Alright. So, the only other card we have in here before we get to the villains is we have just the Bystander. So, if something tells you to put a Bystander token out, here's what its effect is. They can move 3, they can actually do 1 damage, 2 defense, but they only got 1 health. It's kind of neat, just that way if you have a token out there of them, you get what they're doing. If a Bystander is rescued or taken hostage, remove them from the map and place them on the character sheet of the figure that removed them from the map. Alright, now we're going to look at the gadgets. And we have 5 copies of each gadget. And I'm guessing that's so that each character can play as one. Or just so that we have enough copies for each player. Even though there's only 3 characters using that way, each character can possibly have multiple copies. So we have the Batarang. Choose one and apply your next range strike this turn. It stun if hits in addition to dealing wounds. or entangles 3 if it hits instead of dealing wounds. So it depends on what you need to do. Damage, but you can stun them, which is like a 1-turn thing, or you can entangle them, which will take them a couple of turns, but it doesn't do damage. We have 5 copies of Caltrops. Choose up to 3 unoccupied spaces that are within 2 spaces of you in a line of sight. Place Caltrop tokens in each of those spaces. Caltrops tokens are harmful terrain that remain on the map until a figure is wounded by it. I could definitely see adding like this as a fun card for the Ninja Turtles, like adding like a utility belt feature or something like this for them, because that would be kind of cool. 5 copies of First Aid Kit. Choose either yourself or a friendly adjacent figure. Even if knocked down, and roll up to 2 battle dice. That figure regains life equal to the number of hits rolled. We have our 5 copies of Gas Mask. Until the end of turn, the hero gains the Immune trait. Immune figures cannot gain status tokens from poisons and gases. So this would be a great one to maybe add in if you know you're going to play against like Scarecrow or Joker, because they'll have their fear toxins or Smile X tokens. So definitely you could plan ahead and maybe sacrifice one of your other cards to at least make sure you have this Gas Mask. We have a Grappling Gun. Ignore any figure in non-blocking terrain for your next move action this turn, though you cannot end your action on their space. If you move through any friendly figures, you may place one of them adjacent to you after your move ends. So it's kind of neat. You can like swing through other characters and you can grab someone with them. This might be, again, good if you're planning one of the scenarios that involves rescuing people. So you can swing by, grab a bystander, or get to them quicker. We have 5 copies of the Knockout Gas. If it hits, your next melee strike stuns twice in addition to dealing wounds. So definitely helpful. Yeah, remember, if you choose to take gadgets, you can only take 4 of these. So there's more than 4 different cards. So you gotta decide which ones you want to use. We have Search Goggles. Perform special action without spending action dice. With special actions to investigate a bomb, you may inspect 1 additional wire. We have Smoke Bombs. Choose up to 4 spaces. There are 3 spaces of you in a line of sight. Place a smoke token on each of these spaces. Smoke tokens are obscuring terrain that remain to the start of your next turn. And the final one we have is the Throwing Blade. Until your next ranged strike receives +1 battle dice and is not leeching for the first 4 spaces. So that was all of our generic stuff. So up next, we're going to look at villain cards. So if we look at the back of all the hero cards, which we didn't do, there's kind of a picture of the hero on the back. So we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have 5 characters. And then gadgets are blue on the back, just to kind of differentiate them. That's just because it's your cards, they only go in your deck. The villain cards all get this, like, fireball effect. And that's just, then that way you don't know whose card or which card's going to get drawn next. So when you make your deck, you don't know what card the villain's going to get. The other thing we're going to have are allies, which we could go through the allies really quick. And the initiative cards. So, let's look at some allies here. First, I do want to look at the Bystander Tokens. Where is she at? So, we do have the Bystander Token. There's multiples of these. But we didn't look at that before. Otherwise, I think we looked at all the other miniatures so far that we've seen. So, allies are going to have this little, like, I don't even know what kind of gadget this is. some sort of communication device. So we're going to have green ones, which are good guy allies. So we're going to have Alfred Pennyworth, Loyal Butler. During this battle, you may discard this card after rolling an action dice for the round. Each hero may set one of their action dice to a non-bat side of their choice. So that's actually kind of cool. So during a round, you can, so it's at the beginning of the game. You set up, you roll all your dice, you could discard him, so that each person can just set one to whatever they need. So it's a one-time thing, but it gets you whatever you're going to want. We have a Batman ally. So presumably you shouldn't be using Batman ally if you're playing as Batman, but this gives you the option of, like, let's say you're playing a 4-player game, and you're using everyone but Batman. You can throw Batman in as an ally who has prepared. Trying to see if that'll focus. At the start of the battle, if there are no Bat family figures in play, Batman joins the battle. Place 3 gadget cards on this ally card. On their turn, any player may play 1 focus to use any of the gadgets on this card. Once a gadget has been used 3 times, discard it. So if you're just playing like Gordon and Catwoman for this set, or if you're playing one of the once you start getting all the expansions or all the Kickstarter stuff, you'll have plenty of other characters you could add in there. You can throw Batman in there as a special character. I think it's kind of their way of making sure Batman's somehow in the game no matter what. We have Dr. Leslie Tompkins, Compassion. Place 5 focus on this card. During battle, any hero may spend focus off this card at the start of their turn to regain life equal to the hits rolled on 1 battle guide per focus spent. So that's kind of good to have. We have Lucius Fox, Wayne Enterprises. During battle, you may discard this card at the end of the round to have each hero choose to either regain 2 focus or select 1 gadget from the supply and add it to their hand. And then the final one we have is a quote-unquote bad ally for Batman, who has the Escalation, who has competitive, the villain's hand size is increased by once, or cooperative. The first villain initiative card for the round receives a second at the end of the round. This is basically the same ability his regular character has, but it works against you. So it's kind of, again, a way, like, if you're not playing as Batman, you can have Batman kind of step in. He can make things harder for you because he's angry. Like, you're trying to play as Gordon and Catwoman. You're trying to, like, do different little missions. And Batman's sitting up here on the side just pissing the villains off and making them harder to fight. Alright, so we're going to go through one other thing for this this little part of the video before we start all the villains. Is we have the initiative cards, which are going to have these 3 exclamation points. So the initiative cards are just going to be the characters, like Catwoman, with whatever the name of their type of, whatever their card name was. So, like, Feline Grace, the Dark Knight, Brilliant, Prepared. He's get a second Dark Knight, so if you're actually playing the Dark Knight, you're going to have 2 initiative cards, so you get to act twice, because it's a solo mode. Gordon, Police Commissioner, Robin, the Boy Wonder. And then we're going to start getting into all the villains. So you're going to get another Catwoman, but this is ahead of the game, which is going to match this Catwoman villain card, which says ahead of the game, regardless of which side you're playing. Again, presumably, you shouldn't be playing a hero and the villain of the same thing, especially because there's only 1 miniature. So if you have if you're playing as Catwoman, your initiative card comes up, it'll be the one for your hero card. If you're playing against her, it'll be the villain. So Harley Quinn, Man-Bat, he gets 2 of them. Heart of Ice, or Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Wriggler, Scarecrow, Joker, Two-Face. Now you get an idea of all the villains coming up. We also have 2 of the Crushers, 2 of the Enforcers, and 2 of the higher guns, because the minions usually get more actions because they're not nearly as powerful. Yeah, so when you're playing, you shuffle these all up, and then it would be, well, what character gets to act first? You draw the first card. Oh, Batman gets to act first, and then you go through and you pick, oh, Mr. Freeze acts second, and then, oh, who gets to act third? Oh, the Crusher gets to act third. And then, like, the next round, you shuffle these all up, and you draw them again, and it would be, oh, this time Robin gets to go first. Followed by the Crusher gets to act second. That's what kind of keeps that mode a little bit interesting. So, I guess the last 2 things I want to look at is here we have a little bases for your figures. There's 5 of them. There's actually 6. Well, I'm guessing probably for maybe Isis or one of the other characters. But you get to put these on the bottom of your heroes. That way you can easily tell when you're looking at this massive pile of gray figures on the board. You can easily tell which ones your heroes are. Honestly, like me, I think I have enough different colors from different games that I put like a different color on each character. Or if I'm playing, when I played like the Ninja Turtles, I've done like 2 and 2. So I'll like put like, oh, mine will be blue and whoever I'm playing with will be red. And that way you can easily just keep track of who your characters are. And then like here are all the different dice. So they're pretty decent sized dice. Symbols stand out really well. So yeah, like Robins, Catwomans, Batgirls, Commissioner Gordon's, and then Batman's. And again, the little pictures on the bottom, the colors of the black and the inlay colors are going to match the symbols. And then you're going to have all your action dice, 2 hits, 1 hit, defense. No blank sides though. So we got a bag of the dice. 3 for each character. I think there's like 8 combat dice. You shouldn't probably need more than that. Alright, that would be everything we have that's not villains. Let's jump in and look at the villains.